What is the ANC's position on the state of capture report? And what is the ANC's take on Mosebenzi's call for President Jacob Zuma to step down? What does the ANC leadership intend to do with the letter sent to it by its veterans? Is the ANC happy with how the NPA and the Hawks operate? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mantashe. The African National Congress held its National Working Committee meeting at Luthuli House yesterday. The meeting was the first since the release of the State of Capture report last week. Addressing the media earlier today, ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe said the movement supports any inquiry into the influence of business over elected officials. He also said calls for President Jacob Zuma to resign because of the State of Capture report are unfounded. The report has implicated some ANC officials, including its President Jacob Zuma, Co-operative Governance Minister Rooyen, and Mineral Resources Minister Mosebenzi Zwane. We are live. And therefore, if you've got questions, please feel free to call us 089-1104-210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today, Duarte. She's the Deputy General, Secretary General of the ANC, and we welcome her into studio. Jesse, thank you very much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Making time for us all the time when we want to talk to you.
It's my pleasure.
Let's talk about the report. Mm-hmm. What is the official position from the ANC?
Mm-hmm. We believe that the report in itself is a very important document, in that, you know, the ANC had brought to the attention of the public this question of capture of individuals by particular companies, but we also had wanted a fairly broad investigation to be held. The second issue is that in our society now, there's undoubtedly, absolutely no doubt that people are now talking about corruption as a major problem for our country and are prepared to speak out about corruption without hesitation. The report in itself does not provide conclusive judgments or recommendations against any individual, but talks in very general terms about remedial action that should be taken. We are supportive of a judicial commission of inquiry, but we'd also like to believe that such a commission of inquiry can only be called by the President. That's the prescript of the Constitution. That is his prerogative. So we have some questions about whether or not the Public Protector would have been able to make that recommendation. Nevertheless, we believe that it is important to have an inquiry of one sort or another, but an in-depth one. Mm-hmm. We also believe that the people involved and implicated have a right to go for judicial review based on the fact that it is important in our judicial system, and it's the cornerstone of our judicial system, the practice of fairness. The other side must be heard. Mm-hmm. I hesitate to use the Latin word.
Okay, I'll do it.
You'll do it for me. But
apply the audi alteram partem rule.
That rule is vitally important in our judicial system. So, fairness is an important issue. Okay. It also goes to the fact that what happens is people make conclusions, even in the broad public arena. Conclusions are made without giving other people an opportunity to raise their voice.
Now, I'm going to try and squeeze as much as we can, please, given our time.
Yes, please.
Mosebenzi.
Yes.
He then says, hey, look, this collective responsibility thing, no. Every man...
you're on your own, black man.
You're on your own, black man.
Look, I think that, Professor Mosebenzi is an academic. So, naturally, he analyzes things from that particular point of view. he has a right to raise his opinion and his voice, but he was part of the ANC NEC decision when we took that decision. So he's bound by that decision as a member of the NEC. He would have to come back to the NEC and argue against it if he so wished. He's also welcome to do that. I think it's very difficult when people seek headlines instead of allowing processes to take their route and their course in the organization. And what I did notice in the actual article he wrote is that he does talk about his history with the president, that they'd met long ago, that the president was one of the people who gave him instructions to set up a research institute together with O.R. Tambo and so on. So I don't think he's being disrespectful. I think he's being academic about it. And we have to say to him, Comrade Matole, you took the decision together with all of us.
Zwane, you are in Midrand. Welcome.
Hi, this is Zwane. I don't want to waste more. And I just want to ask Jesse some 2 questions.
Okay.
All right. So, since you have mentioned about corruption, I want to ask him, why is it difficult for you
Zwane, your line is not very clear. Are you able perhaps to just turn around or so? Go ahead, let's listen.
Okay. I just want to ask Jesse, why is it difficult to identify most of Zuma's corruption? And then the second one is that since you are part of the executive committee in the ruling party, why is it difficult for you to recognize him as a corrupt man and pull him down? Thanks.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa. Well, I think that firstly, within the organization, the ANC is the kind of organization that always gives people benefit of the doubt until a court proves them to be undeniably in the wrong. And it is also important that we recognize that from about 2005, there's been a very harsh onslaught against the leadership of the ANC, including against President Mbeki. And I must say that many people fell for that trick. You know, listen to the media. Although President Mbeki wasn't called corrupt, he was called many names, labeled in many different ways. And perhaps the biggest mistake we made then was to actually allow ourselves to be led by Julius Malema, mavericks within the ANC and elsewhere, to dealing with President Mbeki in a particular way. We're paying the price for that now, frankly speaking, where there's an expectation that we would willy-nilly remove people, but people are more mature. We question more. We definitely don't just say, oh, well, it's like that. President Zuma is the president of the ANC, and the only way he can be removed is in a conference.
Vuyo, you are in KZN.
Yes, I have got a question for Jesse.
Go ahead.
Jesse is a woman.
Okay.
Do you have consciences? Do you know the difference between wrong and right, or you only think about your positions and the money?
But
what
why
do
is
you
that
teach
question?
your children? If you cannot see this corruption, if you cannot see that this man is corrupt and he is bringing this country down, what do you teach your children as women if you cannot differentiate between right and wrong?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I teach my children to be fair and to make sure that you don't judge until there's absolute concrete proof, and that you don't make opinions about people without facts. So as a woman, as a mother, as an activist, I believe that it is really important in our country that we move away from labeling and ask harder questions. So, Vuyo, you're entitled to your opinion and I respect it. And I do think that because I'm a member of a collective, I'm also bound by the collective's mechanisms and ways of doing things. And I don't step outside of that and express my own private views, whatever they might be.
Let's talk about the veterans, 101.
Yes.
It would appear that they had not been well received at HQ.
I'm not sure about that. You know, Mpo, I keep hearing this. But frankly speaking, I think that Frank Chikane has been received in a group with the SACC. We've met the Integrity Commission of the ANC.
Yes.
They're all veterans. We've met a group of people who called themselves commissars and commanders of MK.
Okay.
Some of them are veterans, not all of them are veterans. We have met several individuals who've come to the ANC. However, I think that what we understand from the Reverend Chikane is that they're not willing to meet with the Secretariat. They want a meeting where the President is present.
Okay.
Now, we've agreed that after we've had a full day National Working Committee meeting in 2 weeks' time, we will have that meeting as the National Working Committee of the ANC with 106 people.
Where do the 5 come from now?
Oh, there's 5 extra. Some of them whom are not veterans, but nevertheless, we'll meet all of them.
Okay, with the President?
Well, the President will be present. The National Working Committee will be meeting them.
Good news.
Yes, Mbo, comrades, how are you?
I'm fine, good news, and how are you?
I'm very fine.
Yes.
I'm happy to speak to you because my blood is yellow and red.
Okay,
So,
you've got quite a mixture of blood there.
my comment is that people, when they talk about corruption. In South Africa, 2/3 of majority people, they are corrupt. I'm one who voluntarily in the transport forum here in KZN. I'm one who voluntarily in CPO here in KZN. The corruption in those departments, I feel like I will never put my face in those departments.
Okay.
But if you take for the Department of Grants,
Yeah,
all those people,
social development.
lots of people, they get money there by corruption. But when they talk in the screen there, like a woman has asked yesterday there, she's just like she's clean like an angel. But there's no one in South Africa is clean like an angel. That is my comment.
Thank you very much. Good news. Well, good news, Daying. Well,
comment.
Well, don't be the one to throw the stones because we are all, not so clean. Then, let's leave the veterans, the NPA and the Hawks. What is the ANC saying there?
There's concern, frankly speaking, Mpo, about, let's start with the Hawks first of all.
Yes.
Firstly, on one morning, they would announce that they're going to charge Gwede Mantashe and Zwane Mkhize. The following day, somebody else withdraws that message and says, no, that's not happening. But we are concerned that there's not sufficient attention paid by the Hawks to seriously understanding that they are supposed to deal with criminality in a fairly defined way, according to the law. We worry about the intrusion into the privacy of people's daily lives. Something that shocked all of us in that report of the Public Protector was this
the cell
phone story.
Yes.
So all of a sudden we're all saying, hey, Mar, it means that now Vodacom or MTN or somebody else can just hand your cell phone records over to a private company that is a consultant for an investigation. And what role does the Hawks play in this? And our real concern is that we must never, ever, ever go back to the bad days of apartheid.
But yes, Jean,
the
perception out there is that the Hawks and the NPA are doing whatever they are doing because they are sent by the ANC.
That is absolutely not true. The ANC is very cautious about interfering with that particular state effort. In terms of holding accountability of ministers, we can, because those ministers are ministers that are deployed by the ANC.
Correct.
But civil servants, the Hawks, the NPA, all of those people must do their jobs according to the acts that govern them. Strictly so, professionally so. They must also stick their noses out of politics. We are worried that, you know, I watched Mr. Nklemeza on your show.
Yes.
And I was a bit surprised when you spoke, you said something about Gwede Mantashe, and he said, oh, that one. It denotes an attitude by a senior civil servant. We can't have that again. You know, we went through this for decades and almost centuries. We can't have a recreation of people with an apartheid mentality as police people who think that you must nail somebody at any cost and at any price, and you can rectify it afterwards. That shows a percentage of bungling. Get it right. If I am guilty of something, do the right thing. Don't infer that you've been sent by some politician because you're probably telling a lie. You know.
Gift, you are in East London.
Yes.
Welcome.
Paul, I'm gonna be shortly.
Okay.
Paul, hello to the DSG.
Yes.
I'm the member of the ANC here in Eastern Cape.
Okay.
I just want to say this and ask a question. You know what, ne? We've got 9 provinces. Our own president is having a backup in KZN. Now ask yourself now, why the other provinces are not backing our own president? I just want to say this. Now the cracks are starting to show, even in our national leadership. We are not puppets, and at the same time, we see what is going on. And now my question is to DSG: does she believe that our organization is in the right direction with our own president at the moment? Thank you, Bo.
Thanks very much, Gift. That's your number.
Well, I think that it's not exactly true that the provinces don't support the leadership of the ANC. They elected the leadership of the ANC, including the president, was elected by numbers of people from various provinces. We interact with all the provinces on a daily basis. People have views, particularly in Gauteng and elsewhere, but it isn't generally correct that people don't support the president or the leadership of the ANC. And I think that the best mechanism for us to go forward as the ANC is not to look at one person to take the ANC on the right path. It is the responsibility of all of us. And that is why we're asking ANC members to focus on servicing the communities and not on looking at debating and discussing what's in the media about individuals. I mean, there's an absolute kind of propensity for discussing what the Daily Dispatch says about Mpo or what the Star has to say about so-and-so and so-and-so. Let's talk about poverty, job creation, and the fact that our people are very concerned about crime.
Okay. Lungile, you're in Delft, Kapa.
Good evening, Pogunjan. I'm good. I think Deputy SG mentioned something there about Julius Malema, allowing people like Julius Malema to rule the ANC. I think they're doing the very same thing. People like Mayele, they go on public speaking whatever they want. Nobody is reprimanding them. Can the SG please tell us what they are doing to call all the structures of the ANC into order? Not everybody do as they please, as they do now. People are losing confidence in them.
Okay. Thanks, Delun.
I think that's a very good question. Firstly, we do believe that the notion that everybody must just speak willy-nilly and say anything that they like to say without referring to policies of the ANC is incorrect, because we're governed and guided by policies. Secondly, that people who are ill-disciplined must expect and understand that they are going to be removed. A number of people in provinces have been removed. But you know, you can't keep decapitating our structures in the movement. We're also looking at how to correct the behavior of people. The ANC is a very big organization now. It has, at the moment, over 900,000 members on our books, people who have paid up their membership, with an additional 400,000 people who are not paid up yet.
Okay.
So the point is that when you deal with a structure like that, you've got to rely a great deal on the strength of the branch executive committee And therefore, we are insisting that BEC members must be people who understand the ANC. And REC and PEC and so on. So I do accept what he says, and I do think that we have a challenge and we're working on that.
Fusi, you are in, where is Eastern Free State?
Eastern Free State in Memel, yeah.
Oh, okay. Where is...
Good day, how are you?
I'm okay, sir.
Let me extend my greetings to Unopala, African National Congress, Comrade Duarte.
Yes.
Yes, I'll be very brief.
Okay.
I just want to check the intake from the General Secretary of the ANC in terms of assisting the 101 stalwarts of the ANC in respecting the constitution of the ANC that guides us to raise our views if we are concerned. Because what they are doing, they are raising genuine matters. But the manner in which they are raising them, they are misleading ordinary branches from the ANC branches. The ANC had made a call to visit all the branches to check the main concern that led to the decline of the election out. And the ANC was clear. Now I'm puzzled by the manner in which the ANC stalwarts are conducting themselves in a manner that is unconstitutional. So I want to check Comrade Lopala in that regard. What are they going to do to ensure that they put them in their right place and address their concern in a genuine manner? Thank you.
No, you're quite right, Comrade, because if you recall the letter from President Mbeki, in fact, admonishes the SG for being administrative about interacting with people, when the SG pointed out to the stalwarts that, in fact, the ANC does have structures. Having said that, nevertheless, we believe it might be a very good thing to engage these stalwarts and advise them of the fact that the ANC does need them to work in the organization, to bring their skills back, not only to find fault every 5 years, because some of these stalwarts emerge every time there's an elective conference of the ANC, and they find fault. Let us ask them to come to that meeting with an open mind. The NWC is also going to be in that meeting with an open mind to engage.
Is President Thabo Mbeki not an ex-official member of the NEC?
Yes, he is.
Does he attend meetings of the ANC's NEC?
Unfortunately, President Mbeki wrote a letter to President Zuma right in the beginning of maybe, I think, 2008, in which he indicated that he wasn't going to participate in the NWC. The President shared that letter with the NEC. We accepted that it is unfortunate, but we said the door is always open for President Mbeki to attend any NEC meeting that he wishes to. There's no limitation on his rights. No one has ever said that he shouldn't attend. In fact, we would welcome it if he did attend our next NEC meeting, so that we could engage him on the contents of his letter, which many of us found quite offensive.
Salvi, you are around Gauteng. Salvi?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, very briefly.
Yeah, Paul, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, I had Jesse. Can you hear me?
Yes, she can.
Yeah, I had Jesse saying something about Malema there, that Julius, it's unfortunate that they were led by Julius. But I think she's being unfair, because when I was, I think, 26 or 7, I was in Pretoria with my uncle, and we were shocked when Malema came on TV to say Mbeki will be removed. And we were like, who's this guy now saying all these things? Today, where were they that time when Malema said they're removing Mbeki? They were there as ANC members. Today, they're coming on national TV saying to us they were led by Julius Malema, and by the time they had where was their concern that they're raising now?
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. We have run out of time.
We have definitely run out of time. Very, very briefly.
We raised those concerns then. Some of us will continue to raise those concerns, and I think there's absolutely nothing wrong for the ANC to reflect and to look at where it might have erred, and to recognize that to be led by the madness of Julius Malema was the wrong thing to do.
The vote of no confidence motion is going to be debated on Thursday.
Yes.
Very briefly,
yes.
From the ANC side, are you going there in one block?
We're going. We will vote as a block, obviously. The caucus will meet on Thursday morning. This is a frivolous event. I use the word event by the opposition on every turn of every issue. They seem to think that Parliament is there to consistently call for votes of no confidence. They don't bring any substance to that Parliament except when they want to insult our President. And we're really, frankly speaking, quite tired of that.
That was question time for today. Iwa Khozo.